Stephen A., I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving.
So go ahead and argue it.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team out there.
Not long after, Caitlin Clark and her team completely tore into ESPN media, and honestly, it was about time. People assumed they could talk freely without consequences, thinking Caitlin wouldn't respond or fight back. They imagined they could ride her success to boost their own fame, regardless of the type of attention it brought. Meanwhile, Molly Qerim seemed to spearhead a smear effort, spreading all sorts of baseless claims about Caitlin's influence on fans.
I'm disappointed in you, and Molly, I'm disappointed in you. I'm just because women. This first,
what happened?
The kind of heat that me and Shannon have had to take. Molly, what's up?
Looking back at Molly's comments for USA Basketball, her claim that Clark wasn't as talented or skilled at that time was completely false. Before her selection, Clark had played 23 games, averaging 17 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and nearly 2 steals per game, while shooting very efficiently. Across the entire league, she led in assists, ranked in the top 15 for scoring, was among the top 5 in three-pointers made, and was clearly the best player on her team.
Shannon, what are you saying? People didn't think that Caitlin Clark was talented?
What I'm saying is that a lot of you came up here, and because Caitlin Clark was getting shine, you guys were saying, don't give Caitlin Clark shine, because there were women that was before her that don't get shine.
Molly has been speaking about Caitlin Clark nonstop. She's always known for being outspoken, but recently her remarks have veered into controversial territory. She seemed to think she could land some subtle digs without anyone noticing. During one heated debate in 2024, Molly outright suggested that Caitlin's rise to the top wasn't truly earned. She claimed that Clark's success on the court was largely due to other players being injured. Twitter erupted like fireworks on the 4th of July, with fans rushing to defend Caitlin faster than Molly could backtrack. That swipe came off less like a sports critique and more like a personal attack on all the hard work Caitlin has put in. But Molly didn't stop there. She's been throwing shade as if it were her full-time job.
Respect who did it before, respect the other stars like the Asia Wilsons. We're also seeing Angel Reese and others like that bringing attention to the league. So it wasn't that anybody was knocking her or denying it, but also now she's backed it up. So as far as the Olympic spot, it was just based purely on marketing and garnering attention, we thought that was undermining the integrity of the game.
Clark being left off the team was clearly a political decision, designed more for appearances than merit. Despite being a rookie, she had the talent to carry the roster and make a real impact on the team. For players claiming they wanted to grow the game and increase its popularity, having Clark on the squad would have been a huge boost for their cause. But of course, Clark wasn't exactly a favorite among these players, coaches, or the media.
Team USA is not worried about marketing. It's not their job to grow the WNBA.
It's unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level.
Now is the time to stick to what you know and what you've always done, which means putting the best team together. Now is not the time for that. And she would only have 7 practices with this team, Stephen A.
Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
That collection of clips really captures the essence of the WNBA summer, which has struggled to gain traction for nearly 25 years. Even with Clark rising to prominence, there are still complaints and lingering debates about past players not getting the recognition they deserved. The reality is, while those past legends were great, their impact on the sport doesn't compare to what Clark has achieved in just one season. Many so-called analysts fail to understand that promoting a sport without giving people a reason to watch is meaningless. If there's no compelling player or team, no amount of promotion will drive interest. Even Sheryl Swoopes echoed this sentiment, noting that the WNBA didn't need saving back then, it just needed genuine promotion. Back in 2017 or 2018, attempts to push the league without a star player would have failed. Ratings would have plummeted. Promotion only goes so far if the product itself isn't engaging. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't popular because of her skin color. Her fame comes from her style of play, her flair, and her dynamic presence. earning her the nickname Female Pistol Pete. Now that she has proven the doubters wrong, the question is, was ESPN out of line with their criticism, or were they just trying to stir up controversy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. The WNBA playoffs are approaching, and tensions are at an all-time high. Teams are fighting for those critical spots, and every game matters. In this intense atmosphere, ESPN released some surprising commentary about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Looking at the current standings, 7 of the top 8 teams have already secured playoff spots, while the 8th spot remains highly contested. Teams ranked 8 through 11 are all potential contenders for that final position, with LA no longer in the running. Before diving into the details, it's clear that the playoff race is heating up, making each matchup crucial. Yet, when you listen to the ESPN analysts, it almost feels like they're reading a different script. Instead of the negative criticism many expected, Clark and her team are receiving praise, creating an unexpected twist in the narrative.
I think the New York Liberty, y'all, they are in a do-or-die situation. I think it's their year. I like the way that they are playing. They've got 4 players that are scoring double digits. Sabrina Ionescu is having a fantastic year in terms of taking the next leap in her game. And frankly, due to contracts, if they don't get it done this year, I'm not sure how that's going to go as you look forward in terms of the future of this organization.
Let's take a closer look at what's happening. The ESPN panel, including experts like Monica and Carolyn, began by reviewing the current WNBA standings. They focused on which teams have already secured playoff spots and which ones are still battling for the final, highly contested position. But then, the discussion took an unexpected turn.
Bottom half, I think that Indiana is a problem. And the way that they are playing as of late, when you look at the numbers of what Caitlin Clark...
The Rookie of the Year race has shifted from a statistical toss-up to a clear lead for Caitlin Clark. While Angel Reese achieved a historic double-double streak, critics now accuse her of stat padding in blowout losses to maintain her numbers. In contrast, Clark has focused on team chemistry, leading the Indiana Fever to their first playoff berth since 2016. The Fever's success is driven by Clark's elite playmaking and her connection with teammate Aaliyah Boston. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky have struggled with consistency and a series of flagrant fouls against Clark that have sparked national debates. Attendance and viewership for Clark's games continue to dwarf the rest of the league, reflecting her massive cultural impact. Analysts now argue that Clark's ability to elevate her teammates makes her the unequivocal Rookie of the Year. Ultimately, the narrative has moved past individual stats to prioritize winning and team leadership.